Hello there Year 10. So this is a lesson on how to actually draw the shelf hanging bracket using Texoff design tools. This is a particularly important skill because when you come to do things like your non-examined assessment, you'll have to actually draw an accurate drawing of your final designs before manufacture, and Texoff 2D Design is the software that we generally use in school for doing that. So I'm going to find the software first of all. Just type in 2D into your search area, that usually brings it up. And when we've opened the software, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to give this particular document a name. Now you'll be in school, so you'll be saving it in your user area, but I'm at home here, so I'm just going to give it a title called Hanging Bracket. And most importantly, something that means we know whose file this is. Okay, so what we have in front of us, as you probably know already, is a grid that's at 10mm spacings all the way through. Now that's great if your product actually is made in multiples of 10mm, but that's not always the case. So what I'm going to be able to do is, to start with, use grid lock. Okay, and then I'm going to select a line here to draw my lines, but I may have to edit those as I go along. So the shelf bracket is actually 175mm along the back here. So as I'm drawing this line, I can see down here where it says distance, it will tell me how long that line is, and you can also see in the same place the angle, which as I go upwards is saying 90 degrees. So I'm going to take that up to 180, but clearly, as I said, I'm actually working on a line here that is going to be 175. So with that in mind, the best thing to do at this point is probably to double click on grid lock. Where it says grid spacing at 10mm, I can just edit those into 5mm. Okay, and that means you'll see the dots now get closer together, and while my line is 180, I can now just click on it once, go to property, change it from 180 to 175, and click update, and that line will now be 175mm instead. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line going across. Now this is 180mm until it actually comes to a particular bend. So I'm going to draw the 180 first, okay, and then what I'm going to do might seem a bit random, but I'm just going to draw a line which is going to bend down. Now this particular line actually needs to go down 25mm. Okay, so if I click on it, select it, go to property, and then change the length to 25, that will be correct. The only thing is I now also need to work out the correct angle, and that is actually going to be 225 degrees. Now that seems a little bit odd, but I'll just show you a quick little exercise on how to work out angles in 2D design. So if I start here, click and move to the right, you can see down here where it says angle, that refers to that line as 0 degrees. If I click and go left, it's not, it's 180 degrees. Okay, so you can already see that working out angles is not quite as straightforward as you might have hoped. So I'm going to put a 0 there because that one is 0, slightly bigger scale than I need. So let's go to settings on the text and reduce that down so that it is maybe just 5mm high would be enough. Okay, so I know that one is 0 degrees, and I'm going to leave this in the corner of my drawing just to help me. Okay, I'm going to then copy that, take it over here, and go to property at the bottom and change it to 180. Okay, click OK. Now, let's just move it along a bit so it's a bit neater. Right, let's go to the centre of my line and let's try again. If I go vertically now, what angle is it telling me? It's telling me I'm now at 90 degrees. Okay, so again I'm going to copy this, put it up top, go to property, and call it 90. Now all of this I'm doing now has got nothing directly to do with what I'm drawing, but it's a really handy little exercise to do, because when you come to draw lines at an angle like I'm going to here, it's going to be quite difficult to get that angle right if I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. So it stands to reason. I didn't look when I drew that line, but it stands to reason. If that's 0, that's 90, and that's 180, so this one is going to be, hopefully you said 270. Okay, so there we go, we've got those angles. Now let's have a little look and see what happens with the what we call the 45-degree angles in between. Now can you see that one is 45, so that's easy enough. Okay, let's copy that across and put a 45 on there. Okay, let's then draw another one here that is 45 degrees in that direction, but this time you can see it's actually 135 degrees it's called in that direction. And that works in that if I look at the one line is 90 and the other line that I'm between is 180, so 135 would be in the middle. Okay, once again I'm going to draw a little line down here, and you can see if I follow those angles it now says 225, so I'm going to click on there, copy it down and put 225 in there and click OK. And then what I'm going to do is just finally draw my last line, which is going to be from here going down to 45 degrees, and you can see that one is 315. Okay, so 315 it is. So I'm going to copy that one, put it down there, just change the text to say 315. Okay, so I'm going to move that to one side, but that is a really handy little exercise because, like I say, when I'm drawing lines like I'm about to, working out what angle that should be at. Well, now let's have a look and see. Property 225, which is correct because I'd be taking it down like that. Okay, now after the 25mm, what it then does is it joins on the end of here. Now you can see as I move around it, because I'm currently on a grid lock, I can't actually get it to join to the dot. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is turn the grid lock off and turn on this, the square with the dot in, which is called an attach tool. Now if I double click on the attach tool, I've got lots of choices in terms of how I want it to attach. I can get it to attach to an end, a midpoint, the centre of a circle, or whatever. So in this case it is the end point, so I'm going to click OK, click near that point, and you can see it's attached. And again, my line can be a bit random to start with, and then what I do is click on it, go to property. I'm going to tell it now that it needs to be at 20mm long, and in this case I need it to go back up to that angle, so 135 degrees would be correct. Okay, so that is the outside line of your particular design. At this stage what I'd like you to do is to draw that for me on your design file, and when you've finished, remember to click save. It's good practice as you go along just to click save every now and again, just in case for whatever reason your laptop battery goes, your computer crashes, and then obviously you've got a version to go back to. But that's what I'd like you to do. 175 up, 180 degrees along, 25mm going down at 225 degrees, and then the last one 20mm going up at 135 degrees. Okay, log on to the next video when you have completed this.